So there's three elements to describing what you do, and this applies to anyone, entrepreneur or otherwise. And we're all familiar with the elevator pitch, where you're essentially describing your product or your service in 15 or 30 seconds or something like that. However, when you introduce yourself, and this is something particularly important if you're going to meetups, you need to quickly, less than 5 seconds, be able to say, what do you do, and communicate value to a point where other people in the room, or when you're talking to someone, they're instantly going to know whether or not you're someone who's going to be helpful to them, and vice versa, because you don't want to, especially if you're in a networking event, your meetup, you don't want to spend time talking to people where you guys aren't a good fit. That just doesn't mean you only talk to people who you can sell to. This applies if you're looking for a mentor or you're looking for strategic partners. So here's mine, for example. Hi, my name's Jason Whaling. I'm a digital marketer specializing in lead generation for professional service businesses and e-commerce sites. Now I'm pausing on purpose here. I could say it much more quickly. Hi, my name is Jason Whaling. I'm a digital marketer and I specialize in lead generation for professional service businesses and e-commerce sites. Bam, click, quick, crisp, clean, and done. And so there's a lot of elements in there. So let's break down the top three. So obviously, first you want to say your position. And if you're not quite sure, you're going to want to choose a position that people are familiar with. So I start off with, I'm a digital marketer. Most people know what digital marketing is, or at least they know what marketing is. And so instead of just saying I'm a marketer, I'm being a little more descriptive and saying I'm a digital marketer. So that brings me to the second part, and this is where I tell people what I specialize in. And instead of saying I specialize in Facebook and Google ads and branding and YouTube advertising and sales funnel design, blah, 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 I wrap all that into a result. So when you say you specialize in, or I focus in, or I work as, when you're using those types of phrases, you want to focus in on the result you provide to whoever you're serving. So in this instance, the result I provide is leads. That's new customers, new business. So it's irrelevant, all the YouTube advertising, the Google advertising, the sales funnels design, these YouTube videos, blah, 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 branding, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff, they don't need to know that right now, right? Because you're quickly saying, this is what I do. And what you do is the result you provide to people. So that result for me is leads, or new customers, new prospects, new business. So I say leads because leads represents all of that. And that's the result that they get. At the end of the day, they get leads from me. And some people could care less about how I get it. So we're not explaining how we do things. We explain what we do. I get leads. And so that brings me to the third part, which is optional. For me in a business and entrepreneur space, I think is very important. And that is saying who you do it for. And that immediately will eliminate 99% of the room. If you're standing up and saying something, or if you're talking to an individual, it's immediately going to tell them, if they're not a professional service businesses or an e-commerce business, then they probably aren't a fit. They probably aren't a good fit. And so one of the things you want to do is, when you reach for everything, you grab nothing, right? And so you want to be very specific with what you want. And this can change over time. For example, in some meetups I go to, I just say for professional service businesses, because I know no e-commerce people are there, and vice versa. So sometimes when I'm doing digital type pitches, I just say for e-commerce sites, because I'm targeting e-commerce sites there. But I always am very specific on who I'm talking to, or who I want to talk to. That way the other person can immediately know, hey, this Jason guy can help me, or this Jason guy probably isn't for me. And you definitely want to avoid the temptation to try and capture everyone. In fact, what I found is, even though I'm very specific, I will have people come up and ask me questions who didn't fit those two categories, because they're simply attracted to the fact that I'm so clear, so succinct, and I'm saying I'm helping these two people. And people who really want digital marketing help or new leads, and they don't fit into those two things, they'll come talk to me anyway. But the two people that I really want to talk to, the e-commerce people and the professional services businesses, they're going to feel special, right? Because when I'm standing up in front of I'm standing up, there's 30 other business owners in there. The one or two that fit that description, they're going to feel like, that Jason guy's talking to me. And that's really powerful and really important as you're describing what you do. So again, just to summarize everything we talked about here, when you're presenting yourself, you're at a meetup, you're at a networking event, there's three components. Obviously, your name is kind of a given, right? My name is, blank. So my name is Jason Whaling. Step number 2, you immediately follow up with a title that would be recognized by them. So just saying president or marketer or, designer, try and be as specific as possible in 2 to 3 words max, right? 2 to 3 words max for that part. And then you go into the result that you deliver. For me, leads, and then optionally, especially if you're at a networking event, and this applies even if you're looking for a job, right? I do graphic design for fill in the blank of the business, or, I'm a accountant specializing in auditing for nonprofits, right? And then that's if you're looking for an accounting position and you want to target nonprofits, then you're going around saying, I'm an auditor for nonprofits. And people say, oh yeah, that Jason guy, he's an auditor for nonprofits. So it's just really important to be very, very specific in how you are presenting yourself. You probably didn't need a 5-minute video, but I think it's so important to be very, very concise, clear to the point when you're presenting, who you are and what you do.